Most people have tried this at least once. You look in the mirror, you see stomach fat, and the first thought is, I need to train abs every day. Crunches, leg raises, planks, sit-ups, Russian twists. Every day. But here's the real question. Can training your abdominal muscles actually burn stomach fat? And is spot fat reduction real? Or is it one of the biggest fitness myths ever? Today, we're breaking this down using research from exercise science, fat loss studies, abdominal training trials, and spot reduction research. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what ABS training can do, what it cannot do, and what actually works if your goal is to lose belly fat and reveal your abs. The answer may surprise you, because the truth is not as simple as spot reduction is impossible or just do crunches. The truth is more interesting. Let's start with the biggest myth. Most people think that if you train a body part, the fat on top of that body part will burn faster. So if you do crunches, belly fat should go down. If you do arm exercises, arm fat should go down. If you do leg exercises, thigh fat should go down. This idea is called spot fat reduction. And for decades, most research has shown that fat loss does not work that way. Your body does not usually burn fat only from the area you are training. Fat loss is mainly controlled by total energy balance, hormones, genetics, training, diet, sleep, and overall activity. That means you cannot simply choose where fat comes off first. You can choose which muscle to train, but you cannot fully choose which fat depot your body burns first. This is why someone can train abs every day and still not have visible abs. The abdominal muscles may become stronger, but if there is still fat covering them, they will not show. One of the most famous studies on this topic tested abdominal exercise directly. Participants performed abdominal exercises for 6 weeks. The result was clear. Abdominal strength and endurance improved, but abdominal fat did not significantly decrease. 6 weeks of abdominal training alone was not enough to reduce belly fat or change overall body composition. This is extremely important. Abs training can build and strengthen your abs. But abs training alone does not automatically burn belly fat. Now, does that mean abs training is useless? Absolutely not. Abs training is useful for core strength, spinal stability, better posture, improved athletic control, better bracing in squats and deadlifts, stronger trunk control in wrestling, MMA, football, powerlifting and weightlifting, better abdominal definition once body fat is low enough. So the problem is not training abs. The problem is expecting abs training to do the job of fat loss. Abs exercises build the muscle. Fat loss reveals the muscle. Those are two different things. Now let's talk about why belly fat is so stubborn. Belly fat is not just one type of fat. There are two major types, subcutaneous fat and visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is the fat under the skin. This is the fat you can pinch. Visceral fat is the fat around your organs. This type of fat is strongly linked with metabolic health risks. Exercise can reduce both subcutaneous and visceral abdominal fat, but not necessarily because you are training abs directly. It happens because exercise increases energy expenditure, improves insulin sensitivity, improves fat oxidation, and helps create a better metabolic environment. A major review on exercise and fat loss concluded that exercise training can reduce both abdominal, visceral, and subcutaneous fat, sometimes even when total body weight does not change dramatically. This is why the scale can be misleading. You may not lose much weight, but your waist can shrink. You may lose belly fat while gaining or preserving muscle. That is body recomposition. Now let's answer the main question. If you train abdominal muscles every day, will you lose stomach fat? The scientific answer is, not directly. Daily abs will not specifically melt belly fat, but daily abs may improve core endurance, abdominal strength, and muscle tone. However, if your diet is not controlled and your total calorie balance is not right, your belly fat will not disappear just because you do crunches. This is where people waste months. They do hundreds of crunches daily, but ignore calories, protein, sleep, steps, resistance training, and overall activity. Then they blame their genetics. But the real issue is that they trained the muscle under the fat, not the fat itself. Now let's talk about the more controversial part. Is spot fat reduction completely fake? For a long time, the answers seemed to be yes. But newer research has complicated the picture. Some recent studies suggest that under very specific conditions, localized exercise may increase local blood flow and local fat mobilization. A 2023 randomized controlled trial reported that abdominal endurance exercise used more local fat than treadmill running in adult males, suggesting that some form of spot reduction may exist under certain conditions. There are also studies testing combined resistance and endurance exercise protocols that found reductions in regional fat depots. So does this mean crunches burn belly fat? No, this is where we need to be careful. The practical evidence still shows that simple abdominal training alone is not enough to meaningfully reduce belly fat. Even if some localized fat mobilization occurs, the effect is usually small, highly condition dependent, and not strong enough to replace diet, full body training, cardio, and energy deficit. So the most accurate answer is, spot reduction may not be completely impossible in a laboratory sense. But for real-world fat loss, it is not reliable enough to build your plan around. If your goal is visible abs, your main strategy should not be train abs every day. Your main strategy should be create a calorie deficit, eat enough protein, lift weights, use cardio or steps to increase energy expenditure, train abs intelligently, sleep well, stay consistent. Now let's compare two people. Person A trains abs every day, but eats in a calorie surplus. Person B trains abs 2 to 3 times per week, lifts weights, eats in a calorie deficit, walks daily, and controls protein. Who loses belly fat faster? Person B, because fat loss is driven by energy balance and overall body composition, not by how many crunches you do. Now let's talk about whether daily abs is a good idea. Can you train abs daily? Yes, but should you? It depends. The abs are like any other muscle group. They can adapt to frequent training, especially with low-intensity endurance-style work like planks, dead bugs, hollow holds, or breathing bracing drills. But if you are doing heavy weighted cable crunches, hanging leg raises to failure, weighted decline sit-ups, and intense ab circuits every day, recovery can become an issue. Your abs also help stabilize your body during squats, deadlifts, overhead presses, rows, Olympic lifts, wrestling, MMA, football, and arm wrestling. If your core is constantly fatigued, your performance in big compound lifts and sports can suffer. So for most people, abs training 2 to 4 times per week is enough. Daily light core practice can work. Daily heavy ab destruction is usually unnecessary. Now let's separate core training into 2 categories. Category 1, ab hypertrophy. This means building thicker, more visible abdominal muscles. For this, you need progressive overload. That can include weighted crunches, cable crunches, hanging leg raises, decline sit-ups, AB wheel rollouts. This should be trained like a muscle. Progress the load, reps, or control over time. Category 2, core function. This means improving stability, bracing, posture, and athletic control. For this, use planks, side planks, dead bugs, Pallof presses, bird dogs, farmer's carries, anti-rotation work. This is especially useful for athletes. Now, let's apply this to different goals. If your goal is visible abs, do not rely on daily crunches. Your priorities should be calorie deficit, high protein, full body resistance, training consistent steps or cardio 2 to 4 ab sessions per week, progressive overload for abs patients. If your goal is athletic performance, train the core for function, not just appearance. Use anti-extension, anti-rotation, and bracing drills. If your goal is bodybuilding, train abs like any other muscle, but remember that definition comes from low body fat. If your goal is fat loss, abs exercises are not the main tool. They are support work. Now let's talk about the best training plan for belly fat. The best plan is not 100 crunches a day. A smarter plan looks like this: resistance training 3 to 5 times per week. This preserves muscle and improves body composition. Cardio or steps most days. This increases calorie expenditure without needing extreme dieting. Abs 2 to 4 times per week. This builds the muscle you want to reveal. Diet every day. This drives fat loss. Sleep and recovery. This controls hunger, stress, performance, and consistency. Now let's talk about cardio. Research shows aerobic exercise can reduce body weight, waist circumference, and body fat. A 2024 meta-analysis found that aerobic exercise is associated with reductions in weight, waist circumference, and body fat, with larger clinically meaningful effects, usually requiring higher weekly volumes. High-intensity exercise may also be effective for abdominal fat. Studies have reported that higher intensity exercise can reduce abdominal fat more effectively in some contexts. But cardio alone is not perfect either. If you only do cardio and do not lift weights, you may lose muscle. That is why resistance training is critical. Resistance training helps preserve or build lean mass while dieting. And the more muscle you preserve, the better your final physique looks. Now let's destroy another common myth. Sweating from your stomach means you are burning stomach fat. False. Sweating is not fat loss. Sweating is water loss. You can wear a waist trainer, sweat belt, sauna belt, or wrap your stomach in plastic and sweat like crazy. But that is not belly fat leaving your body. That is water. Once you drink water again, the weight comes back. Fat loss happens when stored fat is mobilized, oxidized, and used for energy over time, not when your shirt gets wet. Now another myth. Ab workouts give you abs. Partly true, but incomplete. Ab workouts build abdominal muscles. But visible abs require low enough body fat. You can have strong abs and still not see them. Many powerlifters, wrestlers, and strong athletes have extremely strong cores, but do not have visible abs because body fat is covering them. Visible abs are a combination of AB muscle development, low body fat, genetics, fat, distribution, water, retention, lighting posture. Now, let's talk about genetics. Some people lose stomach fat early. Some lose it last. This is why two people can follow the same plan and look different. Fat distribution is influenced by genetics, sex hormones, age, stress, sleep, insulin sensitivity, and lifestyle. For many men, lower belly fat is one of the last places to go. For many women, hips, thighs, and lower abdomen can be stubborn. That does not mean the plan is not working. It means the body has preferred storage patterns. You cannot force your body to lose fat from one exact spot first. You can only keep lowering overall body fat until that area finally reduces. Now let's answer the big question clearly. Can daily AB training lose stomach fat? No, not by itself. Is spot reduction real? In practical everyday fitness terms, mostly no. In some controlled research conditions, limited localized fat reduction may be possible, but it is not strong enough to rely on. What actually works? A calorie deficit, resistance training, cardio or steps, protein, sleep, and smart ab training. The best way to think about abs is this. Abs training builds the bricks. Fat loss removes the curtain. If you only build the bricks, but never remove the curtain, nobody sees them. Now let's create a simple weekly plan. For most people, train full body or upper-lower 3 to 5 days per week. Do cardio or walking 3 to 6 days per week. Train abs 2 to 4 days per week. Example: ab session, cable crunch, 3 sets of 10 to 15, hanging knee raise, 3 sets of 8 to 15, side plank, 2 sets each side, Pallof press, 2 to 3 sets each side. Progress slowly. Do not chase soreness. Chase better control, better tension, and better performance. Now here is the real winning formula. If you want belly fat gone, stop asking, what if exercise burns belly fat? Start asking, what plan makes my body lose fat while keeping muscle? That is the correct question. And the answer is, lift weights. Eat in a controlled calorie deficit. Keep protein high. Add cardio strategically. Train abs for strength and development. Be consistent long enough. That is how belly fat comes off. Not through magic crunches. Not through sweat belts. Not through daily sit-ups alone. Now the final verdict. Daily abs can strengthen your core. Daily abs can improve endurance. Daily abs can help build abdominal muscle. But daily abs cannot override a bad diet. Daily abs cannot guarantee belly fat loss. And daily abs cannot force your body to burn fat only from your stomach. So the smartest approach is train abs, but do not depend on abs training for fat loss. Use abs training to build the muscle. Use diet, resistance training, cardio, and consistency to reveal it. That is the truth. If you found this video useful and want more science-based fitness breakdowns without myths and hype, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because most people chase shortcuts. But the people who understand the science get the results.